You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Friday review, I want to go over something that I mentioned many podcast episodes ago. It's a specific principle that not only do I use it in my own life, but I teach it in my practice when people are feeling a little overwhelmed of, how can I do all of these things I'm supposed to do to get well, or all of these things I'm supposed to do to lose weight, or all the things I need to do to live a long, healthy, good quality of life. So I'm going to go over that today. I'm going to mention the book again, but I'm going to mention all of this from a little different perspective, of course, which is why I'm re-bringing it up. Then I want to give you a supplement that so many people have been using for quite a while, and the reason is that it works. The bottom line, it works if you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, constipation, issues with colon cancer in the family, like all sorts of different things, glucose issues. It's such an inexpensive supplement too. You just have to know which ones to get, which ones not. And I'll mention that, the brand that we use in our particular wellness center in Boston. And then I'm going to talk to you about a very specific constipation massage that I learned. Very first time I learned it was when I was in Sri Lanka, my naturopathic doctoral degree. I was on an internship there at an Ayurvedic clinic, and I learned it, and it's pretty remarkable. It really is. And obviously with 50 to 60 million people in the United States suffering from constipation, I know that this is obviously a popular issue that we need to sort out. So this is one part to that. All right. So the first item I want to talk about is that book. It's called the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle. So when it was first came out, I'm not going to go too deep into this. It was used for basically land use and economics, and I believe in Italy. I don't have that right in front of me, but that's what it was used for. And it looked at distribution of land. What you need to worry about is that the 80-20 principle means this. 20% of everything you do in your life is going to get you about 80% of the results that you're looking for. That means that 2 out of 10 things is going to get you 80% of the results that you want. So we're all doing all these different things in our job, all these different things in our relationships and our life and with our kids and eating, all these different things. And a lot of it doesn't really do that much. It really doesn't. Like if you let it go, not too much would change. About that 20% would change. Very, very small amount. So here's the issue. A lot of times we don't know what it is. We don't know what that 20% is that we need to focus 80% or more of all of our efforts on. So what I tell people, I'm going to give you an example, is this. People come into my practice. I talk about detoxification to remove the toxicity from our body. Not everyone's doing a Dr. Paul detox. It's not that at all. Especially when you meet with me privately, you're doing individual personalized things. So we have detoxification, we have exercise, we have sleep, we have rest in general, we have stress reduction, we have detoxification-based techniques, which kind of like our manual lymph drainage or rebounding, or it might be dry brushing, Epsom salt baths, all those different types of things. And then we have nutritional supplements, and then we have the actual diet plan, the food plan. So when you look at all these different things, that was somewhere close to 10 things. I say to people, if you're overwhelmed right now, and this is all new to you, meaning this is all 10 of those things you haven't been doing, here are the 2 out of 10 things that's going to get you more than 80% of all the results. And what are those things? Well, when you're following a wellness-based protocol or even a weight loss-based protocol, here are the things: nutritional supplements for wellness especially, and your actual nutrition, your food. So I give people this big packet, all these different things, and I say, I'm going to give you also 2 cheat sheets, which means when you get overwhelmed, when there's just too much going on and you feel like you can't handle this, here's a cheat sheet for your nutritional supplements, just this little guide, half a page, that's it. And here's a 1-page cheat sheet on all the foods that you can eat. I don't like to create a no list. I like to create a yes list of over 3 dozen vegetables, 2 dozen fruit, a dozen or so proteins, about a half a dozen or so really healthy fats to start. And then after 21 days, things change, and I give that on the plan as well. So I say, if you get overwhelmed, forget about everything else except these 2 cheat sheets. That is how I I help people get those exceptional results that they're not used to getting, results that they obviously haven't gotten in the past or they would never have made it to me. Because I understand, I've been there myself. That's the thing. Like, I mean, part of the reasons why I believe that I'm able to help people get great results is because I've been all through this myself. I really have. I was that sick kid who was looking for this 20 years ago, and now I just have the hindsight of 20 years of experience and 20 years of working with people and myself and reading 3,000 plus books and traveling all around the world to say, you know what? I started out knowing zero of this, none of this, and now just little by little. I mean, that's a whole lot of weeks and a whole lot of days and a whole lot of months and a whole lot of years, right? To be able to come up with this. It doesn't happen overnight. But what I'm saying is I'm just like any other person. I need to keep things simple. And when I was so overwhelmed and a doctor would give me 30 different things to take, or I read online and like everything I should be taking because it's all great. Well, none of that really matters too. Is like maybe half a dozen things I could have taken instead of 30. Now, did I get the results I wanted? Yes, but at a greater expense and also at just greater stress. So what I'm saying to you in your life, pick a topic that you're trying to improve upon, anything. Like maybe you're trying to, I'll give you another example. When I did my first sprint triathlon, I said, wow, I have to become a great biker. I need to really improve my running and I need to improve my swimming. But you can hop on a bike and you can bike. Again, I'm not putting down cycling at all, but you can do that. You're going to be able to bike for 15 to 20 miles. You'll be able to do that. Now, running wise, well, running too, like you should get your body in shape. You should get your body in biomechanical alignment, all of those things. And you should practice that. But where did I have to focus my effort? My effort had to be focused on my swimming because that was my weak point. I hadn't done that for at least a decade. So I actually got a coach and they taught me better form and better technique for swimming so that when I had to swim a half mile in the water, in the ocean, that the waves wouldn't affect me, that my transition would be good coming out of that wetsuit, all of those different things. That right there saved me 10 minutes, on that part of my leg for a sprint triathlon. And 10 minutes for a sprint triathlon is a lot of time. It probably saved me 15 minutes, to be honest. So, when you look at that, again, I improved my overall time by at least 10 to 15 minutes just by focusing on that one thing, and that was swimming. And if we go deeper into that, it was just one specific technique, and that was how I lifted my arm out of the water and how I put it back in the water. And again, that doesn't seem like that big a difference, but it does. If anyone out there who's done swimming or triathlons, is how the least amount of friction that you can bring that arm into the water and the most amount of pull and then glide. I would never give myself any time to glide. I was in like constant motion and just giving myself a little time to glide and when to breathe. That helped out tremendously. So again, apply this to any part of your life. Again, it's not about always wellness or weight loss. What other parts of your life? Maybe your work. Where do you do in your work? Where do people praise you the most? Or where do you get the best results? Focus more of your time and energy on that. Try to delegate maybe some of those other things. All right, let's move on to the supplement of the day. This is a quick one, but really, really important. And that is a product called psyllium husk. Why is psyllium husk so important? The reason psyllium husk is so important is because it works in a variety of ways. It's also pretty hypoallergenic, which means not a lot of people are affected by this. Even though it's a prebiotic, it doesn't have the same FODMAP-based qualities that a lot of other prebiotics have. And it can be gluten-free and should be gluten-free, and it can be dairy-free and should be dairy-free. You can get a lot of potential benefit from that for issues with constipation, for issues with like diverticulosis or diverticulitis, with issues with hemorrhoids, anything really with the colons and with digestive-based issues. But it also helps with colon-based cancers. And it also helps with, as I mentioned earlier, is with high cholesterol and with high blood pressure and with high blood sugar, because you are improving the bowel motility. And what does that mean? It means that when you put psyllium husk in your body, it's basically like a fiber, and it absorbs water, and that creates more bulk in the intestines. That gives your peristaltic wave, that movement that pushes things through your small intestine and large intestine, a little bit more push on it. And it also pulls feces and all sorts of toxins off the side of the intestines and helps move them and ushers them right out of the body. So it's a natural laxative, but not something that's going to make you have like diarrhea or anything like that. It actually can help with diarrhea, and it can help with constipation. It does a number of things, and something that you can very easily try out. And what do I recommend? I typically recommend between 4 and 6 grams per serving, and I recommend that after dinner or just during dinner, typically with a full glass of water, with a meal or after a meal. And I just recommend at night to start. You'll wake up hopefully the next morning and have a really productive and good bowel movement where it really empties out as much as it should. Now, why does it help with all of these different things? Again, as I mentioned, it's like, how can this help so many different things? Because it's not a drug. That's the difference with natural medicine. You can help so many different facets of your wellness and well-being when you're not looking at things as take this for this. No, you're taking this thing, and what it's doing is it's helping get back function in your proper bowel motility, which means the movement of food and waste through your intestines. And again, if we know that 70 to 80% of our immune system sits right around the intestines, right around that intestinal wall with all of our different immunoglobulins, we can then start to understand that if the majority of our immune system sits right there and we can improve our overall digestive health, well, that just makes sense that our body is going to get healthier in general. Better for the vascular-based system, for blood pressure and cholesterol. It's going to help sweep that cholesterol again out of the body, won't allow it to be as well absorbed, and it's going to help balance blood sugar levels by that additional fiber in our diet. So really, it's an impressive supplement. There are a lot of good brands out there. However, and this is the beauty of functional medicine-based supplements, we actually had to stop carrying a few, and again, not to anyone's detriment, but when you use a functional medicine-based company, they stand by their product, and I don't want to mention the brand name because they'll eventually probably come back out with it. Their supply was contaminated, which means that there was mold and heavy metals in their supply. So what do? They did the right thing. They told people, we're losing a lot of money on this, but we cannot put this product out to you because we third-party test, and there was heavy metals and there was mold, so that was that. But we have a great product, obviously third-party tested. I'll link it up on the website. One of them is called EVAC, but again, there are good brands, good companies. I'm going to put that one up there. It's the one that we're using right now. We're getting obviously fantastic results with it. You can use it once to twice a day. I recommend just starting at night. You're going to take about 3 to 5 capsules. You're going to take about 4 to 6 grams total, and that is going to get you the intended results. If it doesn't, then you can increase that to twice per day. All right, the last topic for the Friday review is something called a constipation-based massage. Again, I learned this when I was first really bright-eyed over there, got off the plane in Sri Lanka, had no idea what I had gotten myself into. I was a small fish in a big pond, even though it's a small island, and I had a lot to learn. I thought I pretty much knew it all. I'd read quite a bit. I had studied quite a bit. I had already been with mentors and was practicing wellness. When I got here, my eyes were opened. I finally understood and finally found what I was looking for, and that was not just Ayurvedic medicine from a book, but seeing it in practice and seeing it how to apply it to each person. I mean, it was amazing. And to this day, it reset my thinking, recalibrated who I would eventually become as a practitioner. But one little piece of that is we did so much massage. A lot of people don't know I have over 600 hours of actual clinical massage training from a wellness-based perspective and also from an anti-cellulite and lymphatic-based perspective. But one of the things that we did was this thing called a constipation-based massage. And we did these wave-like, basically right now I'm pressing around my belly button, moving in a little circle, and I'm moving clockwise. So if I were to look down, I'm moving from 6 o'clock around my body to the top of my belly button at 12 o'clock, and then I'm moving back down to 6 o'clock. And I just have both hands and I'm just palpating and I'm making these little circles around my belly button, and then I'm moving 1 inch out, and then as I go around another circle, I move another inch out, and so I'm creating this vibratory wave-like movement that mimics peristalsis. And then when I get to the outside of my body, right along my right side, that after I do that whole wave-like movement that takes about a minute, I do this right side palpation. I basically just take one hand or two hands and a wave-like movement. I move from my groin on my right side up the right side of my body right till I get to almost my rib cage. And then I do that same wave-like structure across my abdomen, right above my belly button. And I'm just, again, pushing a wave-like movement with my both hands. And I'm creating that, again, that peristaltic wave to push the fecal matter, the stool, out of my colon colon or just down my colon. And then as I get across my body to my rib cage on my left side, I start to move down. Now, what I did was I just mimicked the about 5 feet or so of colon that we each have that starts at the bottom of the right groin, that moves up the ascending colon, that moves straight across the abdomen right above your belly button. That's called your transverse colon. And then when I get to my left rib cage, down that left side of my body, down that descending colon and out of the body. And if you do that, and you can just do basically mimic different rounds of that, and you can just kind of do that colon-based massage at the end 5 to 10 times, you will create a peristaltic movement that your body might be lacking because of stress, but because of maybe that lack of bulk fiber in your body because you're on a keto-based diet or a very low fiber-based diet. All of these things will really help. They've helped tremendously clients that I've taught and that I've worked with. And I know that, it's just one piece of the puzzle. But this one piece of the puzzle could help so many people that are dealing with constipation right now. So even if you didn't figure it all out, but you use psyllium and maybe you added some of that magnesium citrate's a great one for this as well before bed. And then you started using this constipation-based massage. Now, bonus points if you do this constipation massage with castor oil. Castor oil as well can help get those bowel movements too, even when applied to the outside of the body on the intestines. I'll be talking a lot more about castor oil in the future, so certainly tune back into Total Wellness Tuesdays and Friday Reviews in the future where I will be talking about that. So if there are any questions, as always, all you have to do is go to stephencabral.com/Ask Cabral, and I'm happy to answer those. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another Cabral Concept. Really love bringing you these Friday Reviews and all these different things I get to use in my practice. Hopefully I'm going to be able to share more and more of these in the future. Take care of everyone and have a great weekend coming up.
Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or a lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.